Hello. Um, Thought I'd try making a little Euro 2024 fantasy video. Just started having a little look into it. And The first thing I was trying to figure out is the chip strategy, because you you need to kind of know what your chip strategy is first. You need to get like the structural things in place first before you start picking your players, because if you're going to use both your chips in the groups, then you only need to pick a team for match day one. But if you're not, then you're picking a team for a couple of the games in the group stages potentially. So I was trying to figure out the chip strategy. When I first looked at it, I just initially thought, well, limitless match day two makes sense, and then your wild card, you just use it as you need it. If either match day three, if you don't need it, then use it in the quarters, use it in the semis. And I was also, my initial instinct as well was that um, the you probably need it in the knockout phases, just because based on my memory of the World Cup, the last fantasy game 22, and a lot of people got wrecked with all the upsets, even though there was loads of transfers, and there's not many transfers in this knockout round. So I was thinking, okay, probably need the wild card for the knockouts. But then I started thinking about it a little bit more, and I ended up going towards wildcard match day two, limitless match day three, which I've seen a couple of other people have kind of leaned towards, because I noticed that in match day two, you've got. Why did I think this? In match day two, you've got a lot of the best teams are playing each other. France playing Netherlands, England playing Denmark, Italy playing Spain, Portugal, Turkey might be a tough game. And there's a lot of like relatively easy games. This thing I've got on the screen with all the colours here, this is just based on the bookies odds. So I don't know how much you can take to the bank, but they according to the bookies odds, Czech Republic, or they're called Czechia now. Czechia versus Georgia is an easy game for Czechia, apparently, according to the bookies odds. But and Ukraine versus Slovakia should be an easy game. Serbia versus Slovenia, Croatia versus Albania. So there's loads of budget picks there. So you probably wouldn't need your limitless in match day two, because you could just pick a load of players from those teams, and so you maybe a wild card there, and then limitless match day three. A lot of the best teams have easy games in match day three. France have got Poland, England have got Slovenia, Spain, Albania, Portugal, Georgia. Who've Belgium got? Ukraine, not too bad. So yeah, so limitless match day three. So that was where I was leaning next. But then I've switched back around again. I'm starting to think actually you might want to leave your wild card till the knockouts now, and so I'm thinking limitless instead. One of the things about the limitless is I don't think you want to use it in the knockouts. Probably not, because in the final, you don't need your bench. There's no third round playoff in Euros, so you don't need your bench. So you're only going to need 11 players in the final. There's no subs, no nothing, just the one game. So that's a bit of a waste. Even though on a limitless you could have a very cheap bench, whereas your competitors will probably be coming into the final with maybe one or two semi-expensive players that they're going to have to put on the bench. So you might get a little bit of an advantage, but it's going to be so small. I think it's, in my mind, I've just lopped it off. There's no point. Limitless in the final doesn't work. And then the problem with limitless in quarterfinals or semis is that your team reverts back to the team it was in the round before. So round of 16, if you use your limitless in the quarterfinal, when you get to the semis, your team's going to revert back to your round of 16 team. So you've only got 4 transfers to convert your round of 16 team to your semi-final team, whereas everybody else will have 7. They'll have the extra 3 from the quarterfinals and the 4 from the semis. And I think that's, at the moment, I'm looking at those transfers and thinking that's already pretty tight. And with the limitless, I think you're probably going to be a bit screwed in the semis. Not necessarily. Some people might want to go for it, because what it means is that in the round of 16, if you picked 4 from 4 teams, the 4 teams you think are going to get to the semis, if you just pick players from those 4 teams in the round of 16, use your limitless in the quarters, so long as at least 2 of those teams make it to the semis, probably 3. If 3 of them make it to the semis, then you can use your 4 transfers and you've got a full team. If 3 of them make it, you've got your 4 transfers to make it to at least like 12 people in your semis. So you might take those odds. You might say, well, I reckon I can pick, of the 4 teams I pick in the round of 16, at least 2 of them are going to make it to the semis and give me a 12-man squad. When you word it like that, it doesn't seem. It seems a bit more doable. So some people might go there, but I'm still thinking that it's going to be tight, and I'll come to that in a minute. So I'm thinking Limitless in the group stage, personally. I'm thinking the Limitless in the group stage. So, and then wildcard maybe to patch up things if it gets tight in the knockout. So the reason why I think it could be tight, 3 and 4 fixtures. In the World Cup Fantasy 2022, we had shed loads of transfers. We had unlimited in round of 16. Then you had another 4 during the round of 16. Then 5 before the quarterfinals. Then 6 before the semis, and then another 6 before the final. I'm pretty sure it was like that. So it was like lots, and they and in the final there's a third place playoff as well. So 4 teams for the semis, you only need them for the final. It had loads of transfers, and yet people still got wrecked during these into the semi-finals when Morocco beat Portugal. They beat Spain in the quarters as well, I think it was, or in the round of 16, and Croatia beat Brazil. And then there also Netherlands got knocked out by Argentina as well, and there's the England-France game. So a lot of people got wrecked by that, even though they had so many transfers. And I was watching back through some of the Euro videos from 2020 in the quarters and the semis. And in the quarters, it was Switzerland beat France in the round of 16. Sorry, in the round of 16, Switzerland beat France, Czech Republic beat Netherlands. Big shock. And I was watching back through some of the 2020 videos, and lots of people were like, their teams were kind of screwed, and they were kind of wishing they had the wild card. And it seems to me like upsets occur. I had a little look at, where was it? Here, I just had a look back through the last 3 Euros, and upsets occur at about a rate of 1 in 4. I thought I looked at the World Cups, maybe I didn't, but I'm sure some of the World Cups they occur at about that rate as well. About a 1 in 4 rate. So upsets are likely to occur, I think. And then on top of that, last Euros they gave you 3 transfers for the quarterfinals and 5 for the semis, and then 5 for the finals. This one it's 3 for the quarters and then only 4 for the semis this time round. Only 4 for the semis, so they made it even tighter now. So I think it's going to be tight. Tournament bracket. What did I do here? I mean, this is my like prediction of how it's going to go, and it's just you're probably going to have upsets, and you're not going to be able to predict where they're going to come from. You might be able to just think, oh yeah, I'll do it. You know, I'll predict it. But if you'd done it last Euros and picked 4 from France, they'd have been knocked out. And then all of these quarters are kind of 50-50. Really, like any of these teams could beat any of the other teams. You know, maybe 60-40, but so I don't know. I'm slightly thinking I want to save the wild card for the knockouts, and then Limitless in the group stages. I haven't actually thought this all through, so I'm kind of just making this video thinking aloud. I haven't actually decided yet, but these are all my thoughts. And then what was the other thing I was going to think of? What was the other thing I was thinking of? 1 second, let me just think. Oh yeah, I did wonder whether the way to play this game, if you really want to go for broke and you want to win it or get a really good rank, maybe the way to play it is to just go for it, because it is possible that you could just predict all the right all the right teams that are going to progress. You might just be able to predict it, or at least, well, it's possible you could predict it, and then you might not need all those transfers, and then you've got a benefit over the people that saved their wildcard. You've already used your wildcard, presumably to get some sort of advantage in the group stage. You've used it, you've got some sort of advantage there, and now you have a advantage over the people that saved their wildcard. But the thing about that is that I know what I'm going to do. When I get to the round of 16, I'm just going to pick the favourites, is what I'm going to do. I'm going to probably pick literally the bookies' favourites. I'm going to pick players from the bookies' favourites. I'm not going to spread my bets that much. I'm just going to pick each team that I think is going to go through if I didn't have a wild card. And then the upsets would occur again because they always occur. Upsets just always seem to occur. And that's the most likely scenario, I think, that upsets will occur. And if they don't occur, then I'm still probably not going to win because everybody's going to do that. Everybody's going to do the chips in the group stage, pick the favourites. Everybody's going to do it, and I'm just going to be on the same page as everybody else. So maybe using a wild card in the group is a way of differentiating. Possibly, I can't really figure it out, but that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, wild card in the groups, I think. Wild card in the groups. Wild card in the knockouts. Might save a wild card for the knockouts. And then the limitless. The other problem with that strategy of like wild card match day 2, limitless match day 3, is that I'm anticipating a lot of rotation in match day 3. Yeah, I should have prepared some thoughts for this actually, but because I had a little look back at some of the other championships, and there's usually quite a lot of rotation in match day 3, and it doesn't, even if the team has an absolutely guaranteed top spot, even if a team is just like on 6 points and there's somebody else is on 3 and they could theoretically lose top spot, there still seems to be quite a lot of rotation. Particularly wing backs seem to be a place where teams kind of rotate a lot. I need to have a proper study of this to check it, but like it seemed that was just my hunch. Lots of wing back rotation and lots of like on the wings as well, left wings and stuff rotation. So there could be a lot of rotation in match day 3. But then the rotation in match day 3 is going to affect everybody. Like whether you're on wildcard, limitless, or nothing at all, the rotation is going to be a problem for everybody. I suppose it's going to be a waste of a chip if you use a chip and then it backfires. It kind of feels like you kind of want some sort of chip coming into match day 3 because you're going to know the state of play and what teams are going to need to there are going to be some teams that they're going to play full strength because they need the win, and then there'll be other teams that you suspect will be rotating, and it'll be nice to have a chip for that so you can at least target the guaranteed teams where you know people are going to play. So that might be needed. But the thing I like about limitless match day 2 is that you got the guarantee of starts. And so and the fact that because these are the big games where the best teams are playing each other, the big hitters are going to play each other there. I don't know about Ronaldo. Ronaldo's a bit of like, he got benched in the World Cup, didn't he? So is he going to play all the games again? I'm not sure, but some of the others, Mbappe, Kane, Bellingham, Bruno Fernandes, Lukaku, De Bruyne, they're all going to play. So I think I kind of fancy that guarantee of having all the big hitters, they're going to play, you smash your team. I had a little look at because another thing about the knockouts as well is that you get 105 million. So using your limitless has a little bit less value in the knockouts because everybody else is going to have 105 million, even though the price is changing this tournament. So it might not be that much difference, relatively speaking, but it's I think you'll have there's more bang for your buck if you use your limitless in the group stages. The most expensive teams are like England and France, and if you picked all your best players from these teams, you get up to like 115 million. You could probably make a team out of these teams. So that's the kind of advantage you can get over somebody who's just got 100 mil budget. See, originally on match day 2, I was thinking the limitless on match day 2. There was a bunch of like cheap players that I reckon I could get. So limitless is kind of pointless. But then if I go for the big hitters instead, rather than going for some of these little players from like Croatia and Czech Republic and that, because I mean, I quite fancied. I thought is Vlahovic and Mitrovic. I don't know. I kind of fancied Serbia against Slovenia. Could have been a good one. Mitrovic has been good for me in tournaments before, but I don't know if he's still the main man or not. Yeah. So yeah, don't know. I think Limitless Matchday 2 could work. Matchday 3, but then that means I've got no chip for Matchday 3. And another thing about this tournament is that when it comes to the lineups, you're only going to be able to get the advantage of the lineups in these ones, these Group A games, and then after that, it's not a rolling lockout like it was in the World Cup. This is you have like hard deadlines and mini deadlines, don't you? The hard deadlines for the transfers, and then the mini deadlines between the days just for your manual changes like subs and captains. So that's no good really. You want to know the lineups. You're only going to know the lineups when you're picking your transfers, your wildcard, whatever. You're only going to know the lineups for these Group A games. And in Matchday 2, it's just that Albania-Croatia game's the only lineup you're going to get. So that Matchday 3 is going to be a pickle, isn't it? If I'm going into it with my Matchday 1 team and hoping they're just going to play, seems a bit unlikely, isn't it? Is the most likely scenario is that England and France will be relatively qualified, probably. I mean, France-Netherlands could be a draw there. England-Denmark, don't know. England usually draw at least one game in these group stages. So maybe it will mean that they will need. Maybe that's more likely that they will need to put out a semi-strong team in the final match day. Yeah. I was kind of hoping this video would clear my thoughts, but I think I've just realised don't really know what I'm doing. Yeah, don't know. I really like the idea of saving a wild card. Maybe it's Limitless Matchday 3 is the play. Maybe that's the play. Yeah, maybe that's the play, because I'm still going to have, if I just go a good team for Matchday 1, good team for Matchday 2 as well, they'll probably all play. Limitless for Matchday 3, because at least there's that potential. If the big clubs do need to play, if Mbappe's and Kane's and that all do need to play, they got quite easy games as well. They could be like big scores. There is potential there, and then you don't have to use a Limitless for the extra money that you get. You could just use a Limitless as a free hit. It seems like a waste, but it's not necessarily the case. You have to use all the money. So that could be, yeah, maybe Limitless Matchday 3, save the wild card. Anyway, if anybody has any thoughts or what they're thinking, feel free to comment below, because I'd like to figure it out. Just thought I'd do a babbly video. Haven't even really got close to picking the actual players yet. Just wanted to get the structural stuff figured out first. Okay, I'll leave it there. See you later. Bye bye.